What's up, YouTube? It is Road to Recovery, and this is Stories of a Porn Addict. And I wanted to tell this one real quick because I was just at a meeting, and sometimes these stories they come out when I'm reminiscing about other times of my life. And I've told you guys before that I have a million stories, and this one happened when I got out of college. And I had gotten a internship at a county office. And so, just kind of setting this whole thing up, like it's difficult enough getting an internship. It's really difficult getting a paid internship. So I was paid, um, and I was inside of this county office, and I was doing or working on some economic modeling projects. Um, Long story short, I was working on a really, even for then, a dated computer, and I was accessing a database on it and doing manipulation. And but it wasn't a good PC at all. It had no speed. It can barely process the database that was running on it. And I was working under my direct manager and under another person who was a director of this facility. And both of them had just gotten brand new computers. And I had been looking over their shoulders several times, when we were working on modelings and other things. And I was like, wow, you got a really nice PC. And part of me was jealous for work functions because, I really did need something a little bit higher end to push the database I was working with. But the other thing was like, you know, I I wanted to surf porn. I could clearly see that these PCs were way better for being able to do something like that. And I can't remember how long I worked there before I got the courage enough, because the way it used to work is at 5 o'clock they were out the door. It was a county office, right? They didn't give a shit if anybody wanted to work late, but they were heading out the door. And I was, still a really young guy. I lived fairly far away from the place that I was interning at, so it was going to take me an hour's drive home anyway. And I didn't mind staying late just simply because the drive sucked and I didn't want to hit rush hour traffic. So I would stay late. And the first one I think was my direct boss's PC I got on because back then there was no password protection, so you could get directly on. And I went in and I went searching for a model who at the time was trending popular back in the late 90s. And I went searching for her, and I was like downloading. I had a floppy disk, and I was like downloading stuff from his computer to the floppy disk. And then I went to the director's PC, and I was, using her PC to download porn. And everything was going fine until one day the office administrator, God knows why, she decided to come back into the office one night, and I was on the director's PC at that time, so there was no excuse for me to be in her office whatsoever. It was a nice big glass office overlooked of water. It was always fantastic. And but I could hear the door open because every time you open the door, there's a little beep. It had this like security thing on it. And I heard the beep, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And because our office was not large, not large, large. It was large enough to where you could have 10 employees working in there comfortably, but it was the width of a low-level high rise, and it was just that one floor, or actually, I should say half of that one floor. So you can hear things, and the second you walk into the office, you could hear things going on the floor. And so I panicked. And so the way this director's office was set up is that her monitor was facing the office door. And so the front of the desk, it was a one of those faux oak desks, and it had a back going across the forward front of the desk. And on the rear end of the desk is where the chair was at. So the second that happened, I immediately turned the power off on the monitor and I jumped underneath the desk. And I could hear her, the office admin. I could hear like You know how sometimes, like when a place is dead quiet because there's no one else in the building at that time, you could hear the air actually moving when somebody walks around inside of space. I could actually hear her and the air moving, and I could feel the floor vibrating as she like went through, and she was like looking around. And I think what happened is that she realized that the alarm hadn't been activated yet, and she was trying to think like, was somebody still here? So she walked into the director's office, probably looked in the direction of the desk that I was hiding underneath, didn't see anybody, and walked to the other side. And I was like, oh God, please don't let her come in here. And sure enough, she didn't. She It sounds like she made a round. She might have dropped something off, and I heard her activate the security code and then leave. And so at this point, I knew that I had a certain amount of time to get out of that building before the actual security went into effect and the motion detectors went off. So it's like, oh shit. So, I hightailed it, and thank God I got out of there fast enough before the actual alarm went off. But oh, you think I would have learned a lesson from that, but all I did was it made me a little bit cautious about like using other people's PCs. I never did that again. But that was that was scary. So anyway, the reason why I tell these stories is so that it helps you, encourage you to be able to share your story with others. So hope you enjoy this one. Have a good day and stay on that road to recovery.